Yes, this is Danny Pepperseed for World of Reggae, and we're backstage in Dordrecht, in the Bibelot. And next to me is Mark Wonder, all the way from Kingston, Jamaica. Mark, welcome to the Netherlands. How are you doing?
First, let me say greetings in the name of the Most High, Rastafari, King Selassie the First. Yeah, man, greetings, Pepper Seed. Big up World of Reggae, enough love and joy, glory and majesty.
Yes, Mark. You just did your show, wonderful show, and it's actually like your first show you ever do in the Netherlands. So, how was the vibe for you?
Well, the vibes was airy. I saw that the people were receptive, and that's a good feeling. That's a good vibes. The whole energy and thing, was up, and it's a good look, good feel, yeah, good energy, yeah.
All right. Well, now we here in the Netherlands, as I've said before, you kind of have a special connection with the Netherlands, because the first album you produced was for a Dutch producer. So tell us a bit about that project, even though, like, due to circumstances, it never really did see the release it was supposed to get.
Well, that project happened in a mystical way. I was in Jamaica, living in Marvel to be exact, just across from Black Scorpio Studio, who is in Jewsland. You know what I mean? And I was introduced to KC by the engineer at the time of Black Scorpio, Culture Lee. Yeah, and they invite me over to the Sunday session. He was working on several projects there, making lots of albums. And yeah, culturally come and check me and okay, there's a program happening there, I mean, I want to meet this producer and so on forth. We went there the Sunday, we got introduced and they said, okay, I mean, let me hear what you got, I mean, and he pulled up a rhythm and said, okay, I would like you to put something on that. And right away I had a song fit for that and I mean, we just went there and yeah, we do our thing and they all like it, I mean, the studio lit up and he said to me, I mean, would you like to record another song? And so why not? I mean, I was getting paid, so yeah, I mean, so we recorded another song. And after those two songs was recorded, he proposed to me about an album project, and we decided, yes, okay. At that time, we had just split, so to speak, with the Black Scorpio imprint, I mean? Yeah. Wanted to big up Black Scorpio for launching Mark Wanda into the world. Black Scorpio was the first man who released a song with me, and he actually gave me my first single, which was called Caution. Yeah, big up Black Scorpio. And so while with KC reasoning, I mean, yeah, we decided to start the project and we start recording, I mean, and we came up with a beautiful gem, I mean. The album was titled Signs of the Times. We had about 3 singles released. I mean, Signs at the Time, the title track was released, and 7 inch, and 2 other singles were released also. So there was a combination of 3 singles. Signs at the Times was the single that really got me some prominence in Europe. What I mean? We just performed that song just now. And it it's a track that was recorded by Lee Scratch Perry Studio, Black Ark Studio, and Sangy Davis. Sangy Davis, yeah, big up brother Sangy. What I mean, affectionately, and I call him Uncle Sangy. Yeah, and later while hanging out at in the yard at Earl Chinasimit's place, what I mean, I realized it was Sangy who actually had the originality of that track. What I mean, he was the one who wrote that track, and what I mean, Scratch Perry them produces stuff and things like that. Before I heard Max Romeo was the first person I heard on that track, so I had it for many years that it was a Max Romeo original track. Not until I start visiting in the yard about maybe 5-6 years now, and I realized it was Sangy Davis who was the actually originator of this thing. And so the Signs of the Time project, just as it was about to release, I mean, they had problems with the producer and the executive, I mean, the owner Peter and KC White, who was actually the producer, and Peter was the executive. They had problems, because I get to realize that there was stuff licensing out to other companies and all of that. So it was a big setback for that album, but I never let that deter me, you know what I mean? I kept on doing what I was doing, you know what I mean? So Signs of the Time album never get to see the light of day, you know what I mean, as a release project, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean, we still perform songs from that project, you know? As I said, we have just performed Signs of the Time, which is one of my all-time favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, the original is actually called like Words of My Mouth by the Gatherers, produced by the great Lee Scratch Perry, the Black Ark, Sanjay Davis, as part of the Gatherers. Yeah, man. Well, that label was Zola and Zola. Now, that was about the mid 90s.
Yes, about 96, 95, 96.
Yes. But, Mark Wonder is in the business for way longer than that. So let us go to the beginning right now and give the people the full story. So, like, where did Mark Wonder start and how did you become, like, the artist that you are today?
Well, first and foremost, you know what I mean, music have always been a part of me, and I've always been a part of the music. My early influence on music came because of my mother. My mother had a large collection of music, R&B music from North America. I mean, all the great Motown hits, Atlantic, Arista, I mean, all those great productions and artists from these, companies in America, I mean. I grew up on those music and also local Jamaican music like Heptones, I mean, Babandi, you know, the great Alton Ellis, the great Ken Boothe, you name them all, Burning Spear, Dennis Brown, you know what I mean? Actually, Dennis Brown was the man who actually inspired me to be a singer. I remember one day, my mom asked me to do something, She was doing some laundry and she asked me to fetch some water for her. And while I was fetching the water, I was singing. And she said to me, "What would you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "I want to be a singer." Not knowing that today I man would actually be, a recording artist, I just bluntly tell her I want to be a singer. And her reply to me was, "Okay, to be a singer, you have to be able to be, be functional where educational level is concerned, able to can read and write and all of them stuff there, you know what I mean?" So, yeah, that's where my first influence came from, I listen to people like, Aretha Franklin, Patti LaBelle, you name those people, all the way down to Edgar Fitzgerald, Ruth Brown, you name those people. I listen to all of those music from my youth, and those people sang with lots of soul, lots of meaning, lots of feeling, you know what I mean? And it was sometime in the 70s I got hooked on Al Green and also Stevie Wonder. Yes, Stevie Wonder became my favorite artist. When everyone was hollering about other people, Stevie Wonder was the one for me, because of his majestical sound. He was able to hit notes and keys that, you know what I mean? Okay, like these things were never in the book, you know what I mean? And he was like way ahead of his time in making music. So I love the presentation of Stevie Wonder, the way he present his music, the arrangement, the way he sang. And so during the 80s, you know what I mean, I was introduced to my first producer by my sister. My sister knew of this brethren called Ian. I don't remember the name of the label, but at the time there was Trevor Scatter who was recording for him. Trevor Scatter, who became lead singer for Bloodfire Posse back in the days, now works along Inner Circle and was a part of the Rough Cup band playing keyboards and doing background harmonies at the time. And there was also Delroy Cat, who was I think a part of I can't remember the name of that band who that came and kick up a storm earlier on. Anyway, I met up with these folks and I mean they took me to the studio, and I was using a name before and I wouldn't call that name right now. Yeah. Anyhow, Ian said to me, "Oh, that name did not go work. You have to find a name." And I was living in Narbrook at the time. I lived in Narbrook for 5 years with my family. I mean cousins and so on forth. And they were based on Mannings Hill Road at the time, next to Jaro Studio. Yeah, so I would come down from Narbrook, come down through Cassava Piece on the gully side, and come down to Mannings Hill Road and hook up with the and them every day. And the first studio that they took me to was King Jamin Studio in Waterhouse. And then our first recording session was at Music Mountain, owned by Chris Stanley, up in the hills of Stony Hill at the time. And that was the first state of art studio that I've been to at the time. You know what I mean? And so I went home that afternoon and I was considering what am I gonna you know. What am I gonna do? What name am I gonna be using? So after thinking and running over a few things in my mind, a few names, and it just came to me suddenly, you know what I mean? Wonder, Mark Wonder. Yeah, because you're a Stevie Wonder fan, Mark Wonder. I say, all right, me, I go take that name there. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be the ninth wonder. You know what I mean? Yeah, Stevie is the eighth wonder. I'm gonna be the ninth wonder. And yeah, that's the beginning of Mark Wonder.
Yeah, man, that's some nice history you gave us. Um, so when you did that first tune, were you singing like on sound systems already? Were you performing already?
Well, back in the days in the 80s when I really got involved with music, you know what I mean? There were sound systems everywhere. Everywhere. Every ghetto, every avenue, there was a sound system. Even if the sound system wasn't of, class and of that magnitude, what in Jamaica we'll call like little sounds who are not of great quality, them say a jump and sound. Yeah, when you get dub plate here, man, I kill jump and sound and all of them things, you know what I mean? So lots of folks, you know what I mean? Vinyl was the thing, you know what I mean? There was no CD. And you know what I mean, cassette was like, hey, you know what I mean, yeah. Vinyl was the thing. So there was lots of sound system. So I grew up singing on sound system. You know what I mean? In my community, horse racing was one of the big thing along with football. I got involved with horse racing first. You know what I mean? Wanted to be a jockey. That never happened. So I went forward to my first love, which was music. So while growing up in the era of Marvel, we'd go across to Waterhouse. Waterhouse is a big community where reggae is concerned, and many great sounds came out of Waterhouse. Wailing Soul, the Black Uhurus, the Half Pint, the Jonah Reed. You know what I mean? Yeah, all these people, Dan Carlos, Michael Rose. Yeah, you know. And I was very fascinated with the Waterhouse sound, first of all, by Wailing Soul. Yeah. And then I got hooked on this Black Uhuru thing, you know what I mean? Yeah. I start singing on a lot of sound systems in and around my community and venturing in other communities. That's how we could get to showcase our talent. You know what I mean? There was part one and part two. So we'll get that sound system, hoping to get a chant off the mic and all of that. Fortunate for me, I had a sound called Universal, a small sound which was owned by Echo Minot, Uncle Herbie at 12 Tribe Heights. You know what I mean? He had a garage and he had a sound in his garage, and that sound never locked off. Trust me, even in the day when they were working, you know what I mean? The song was playing, but playing at a very low and steady, soft way, you know what I mean? But in the night, everything will come alive, you know what I mean? We'll find artists like Chaka Demus coming from Waterhouse, generally, and even Neko Minot himself would come by, and many, many ones who became prominent artists after a while. And that's where I honed my craft night and day, trust me. I had to sing, 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 sing. And during that time of the 80s, there was lots of cover versions was being done by local acts coming, young acts coming at the time. It was the night to okay, find a nice song that's a hit, you know what I mean, and sing it over on a two-car track. Back in the day, Steely and Clevie was the man making all those, computer tracks, you know what I mean, and hitting the place with King Jammins and all over. So I had a lot of friends who were asking me, oh, Mark, sing over one song, no man, I'm boss, just sing over a song, and that wasn't where my heavens was at the time. I want to be creative. I want to be artistic. I want to be an artist. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because then the people who I consider to be my heroes in the music, the Burning Spears, you know what I mean? The Israel Vibrations, the Abyssinians, the Wailers, you know what I mean? All these people, the Babandis, the Barrington Levy, you know what I mean? Because then Barrington Levy is a man when I was a youth, that sound really hit me. Yeah, he had a very majestical sound. So I started practicing to sing like Levy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So in my early recording stage, I started to sing like Barrington Levy. Most of my early tracks were like, hey, a Levy sound. And then gradually, other sound starts coming to play. I get to meet up with my brethren Kojo, the great Berries Hammond. We used to hang out with him at his place, you know what I mean, at his home. Me and another friend called Sixy Morris, son of legendary Monty Morris. He introduced me to Berries, and we start hanging out at Berries. And then while with Berries, a lot of times I noticed the type of music that he used to listen to. Like Isle Brothers and Spinners, OJs, you know what I mean? People like Otis Redding, you know what I mean? Marvin Gaye, all these people, you know what I mean? And I start to look into myself and say, wow, you know what I mean? These are the music that I grew up on. and I come a Kojo place, and these are the music me see him having in place, you know. And when I listen singing, you know, he sings just like those people with the passion, you know, that burning soul from deep within, you know what I mean? So I said, okay, this is how I want to sing, you know what I mean? This is what I want to be like, because then, okay, the man that inspired me, he was a majestical singer, the late great Prince, Dennis Brown, Emmanuel. Yeah. So I shied away from, you know, doing cover songs and all of those things. I want to be artistic, writing my own songs, you know what I mean? You know? And so we do lots of sound and influences of artists, you know what I mean? Over a period of time, I've developed a sound for myself, and I didn't recognize that, trust me, until in 2001. I was here in Europe, actually in Zurich, and I was working on some project with the Gang Lords, a band from out of Switzerland. And Philip came. We had a dub session before we went to the recording place, and after the dub session, he said to me, you know, Mark, you have a sound. I'm say, what you say? He said, you have a sound, you have a new unique sound. No one have your sound. I don't hear no one sound like you. So when me go back to Jamaica now, me start listen forward myself, and I discovered that, you know, yeah, there was something there. So I just kept on, and, you know what I mean, working, and here am I today, representing as a Dragon Slayer.
Yes, man. And well, speaking as of this moment, you know, like you just released a new album. Well, actually, like the official release party is tomorrow. Brand new album, done for two producers from California. Tell us a bit more about the album. You know, like what can the people expect?
Well, the album is called The Scroll of the Levites, and in biblical perspective, you know what I mean, I am a son of Levi. I rule under the tribe of the Levites, you know what I mean. And so affectionately we decided to call the album The Scrolls of the Levites, because, you know, at the time we were on a special journey. And so while recording the album, we wanted to create a concept so we could record, you know what I mean. So based on our journey and the track that I was on at the time, you know, we decided, you know what I mean, when I came up with the title, you know what I mean? Yeah, before it was the son of Levi, you know what I mean? And for about a couple of months we dabbled with that, and then that went out. And then came, you know, the Scroll of the Levites. Okay, the Scroll of the Levites, now we start recording that in California. Yeah. Yeah, we record that song in Palo Alto. We recorded the album in Palo Alto. Most of the album tracks were recorded in Palo Alto, about 35 minutes outside of the Bay Area in San Francisco. And we recorded at Sikanda's home studio. Yeah, we had originally recorded about 16 tracks in California. And after a period of time, we had other projects that we were working on at the time, and those projects eventually came out. So we had also hold back that album a bit, you know. And one of those albums was called True Stories of Mark Wanders and Friend, produced by Altafan Records. And then the other one, which was True Stories, was 2010. And the other album was Working Wonders, produced by Oneness Records out of Germany. You know, once a big up to Murray and the man called Benny. You know, I mean, enough respect. We give thanks for the energy and the strength and the support over the years. You know, that was a beautiful project, Working Wonders. And now we are about to unfold the Scroll of the Levites. Yeah. And this album is consists of 13 tracks. 13 tracks. You know what I mean? And it's all about the spiritual thread, you know what I mean? And there's also tracks of social commentary, you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, as ones who represent, you know, the voice, you know, represent the voiceless. You know, we are the voice of the voiceless. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, there's so many issues, you know, in and around us all over the world, you know what I mean? So the voiceless has to have a voice, you know. So I and I as a Rasta man treading, you know, this time, you know, yeah, we represent the people, you know, we represent the unknown, the underground, the ones who have not been heard, you know what I mean? The ones who have been pushed aside, you know what I mean? You know, the ones that people turned their back on, you know what I mean? I represent those people because I'm coming from that situation also.
Yeah, man. Brand new album. Launch party tomorrow in Arnhem in the Netherlands. You did a show in Belgium last night. Well, tonight is Netherlands as well. to which other countries the tour will lead?
Okay, we'll be going into after the album launch party tomorrow. We'll be going into Germany. Then we take a small break, and then we head into Switzerland, and there's plan to go over into France. And there's a possibilities of more dates. I can't confirm as yet, you know what I mean. But yeah, things are looking up, and we give thanks for the ones who created the energy, you know, the time and the space. Most High Jah be praised for all of that.
Yeah, man. So fans of Mark Wonder, look out for Mark in Europe, all over the place, Germany, Switzerland, France, and well, probably different countries as well. And also make sure to check out the brand new album, Scrolls of the Levites, on New Sound and Roadblock and Heartbeat Europe. You know, so no time sound. Yeah, so you know it should be available like in all your good record stores. You know.
The album will actually be released to the world on April 6th. That's the official release to the world. But we have the album launch, because the tour was, you know what I mean, built surrounding the album, you know what I mean. So we actually, the company have made the possibilities for us to, you know, have CDs to present and all of that, you know what I mean. But the official release will be on the 6th of April in our leading stores across the world. And the album is distributed by Heartbeat Continental Europe. And yes, as it's been said before, it's produced by Sikanda and Nando from out of California. Yeah.
All right, Mark. Thanks for your time, and it was good having you here in the Netherlands. You know.
Give thanks.
Yeah, man.
Jah be praised. Much love, Pepper.
Yeah, man. Bless up.
Reggae, big up.
Yeah.
Continue the mission, you know? Reggae strong, upright, Rastafari.
Yes, this was Danny Pepperseed for World of Reggae.
Boys are in town, Babylon.